AFR Talk. Kevin McCullough, glad you're with us from New York. A beautiful, sunshine, crisp day in New York. Glad you're with us. Had a little interesting morning. Get a call from the lovely bride just a few minutes before little James. He just started his first Christian preschool class last week, and he was all excited this morning. They were going, well, evidently somebody left a screw of some sort out on the garage floor, and somehow that got into one of the tires of the lovely bride's car. And I don't know who would have done that, but I had to run over and help get the vehicle to the car place and so forth today. But I've been running around. Just a beautiful, almost fall day in New York. This coming Sunday kicks off a very, what I've always said is just an absolutely obscene mess in our nation, and that is the existence of the pride parades. But in Dallas, Texas, a place where AFR Talk has a station, and there are people that listen to AFR there on a regular basis that will know about this, the pride parade has become kind of a legendary thing. It's a big deal. Cities across the country do these. There's a lot of money that changes hands because of them. They're big money makers. But Dallas, I think, is taking a very courageous stand, and it's one that I would, if we're not going to ban pride parades altogether, one that I would hope that we would follow the inclination of here, and that is to arrest everyone that does something indecent. That if they take their clothes off, if they engage in simulated or real sexual activity of some sort in the process of the parade, that we would say enough of that. Children's innocence is worth protecting, and we're going to see to that this year. So Dallas has said that they're going to. The mayor's office, the police, and a couple of people that are related to the organizing, even open homosexuals, are agreeing that this is what's best for the children. Your thoughts on this as we take your calls, 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. And if you call, don't hang up. Miss Etta's getting to your calls. It'll ring a little bit. That's okay. Just be patient. Let's talk to Johnny in Oklahoma. Johnny, you're up first with Kevin McCullough on AFA Today. Hi.
Hi. Well, we all know, I think, who've read the Bible well, that Sodom rising is a sure sign of the end. And the reason is the children won't be safe. They're going to be affected or infected with this from the time they're very young, which has already begun. So if they've rejected the natural order, we'll speak of between a man and a woman, it's a sign already that they've rejected the spiritual order. And Jesus said if a man keeps his own life or takes his own life or tries to save his own life, indeed, if he doesn't hate his own life and take up the cross, he can't be my disciple. So this sign of homosexuality is not just an outward sign. It's a sign of any person who loves their own self.
Okay, and that has to do with the protection of children how?
Time ends because children can't be raised safely, and we're right at the end of time. Sodom rising is a sure sign of that end.
Okay. Johnny, I appreciate the call. Thank you much. 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. What I'm specifically talking about is the courage here, because I do believe that they are going to get massive blowback from every aspect. My hunch on this is that the people that are getting angry about this are the people that don't play nice. They're the people that write nasty things about people like me. It's also interesting. I've never understood this either, but maybe someone can explain it to me. They always try to insult me by accusing me of being secretly in the closet or somehow not heterosexual. You ever notice that? Sometimes the activists will accuse people of being gay as an insult because of how their position on gay issues is. It's a very strange dynamic to insult someone with a status that you're supposedly celebrating. I've never understood the logic of that, but then again, this isn't about logic. What it is about, and I think it's a pretty good evidence of, because people have always said on the adoption issue, they're always like, well, Kev, why are you against homosexual couples adopting? particularly, and this may be totally hypocritical, but I'm even more against male homosexual couples adopting than I am female, and it does have to do with the gender, with the sex. Absolutely, I think men sexually are more predatory by nature, so I think that they pose a greater danger. But regardless, I'm not in favor of it all. And part of the reason is the mindset of what goes into the demonstration against these rule changes in this parade. You have activists who, for instance, this one who put on their social media website, on their Twitter and other things, saying they're ending their posts with a hashtag that says "Pride out with your hideout." Your hide, like your skin, your hide. Get it? So witty. Others saying the queer is effectively being erased from our pride celebrations in favor of polished, get this word, heteronormative representation of our community. So now to just be a decent human being isn't right. It's being called polished heteronormative representation. Do you know why heterosexual is normative? Daniel Cates, activist who wrote that. I'm just curious. Do you understand why the term heteronormative is even in existence? Because if men did not mate with women and create children for centuries, you wouldn't even be here. There is a normative setting to the culture. It's called humanity. It's called normal sexuality. It's called the use of sex or reproductive activity to create another generation. So while you look at that heteronormal universe as in some way offensive to you because all you want to do is have sex and not be told what to do and not to be told who you can do it with or have any limitations put on you in any way, shape, fashion, or form. Basically, what you want is absolute anarchy and chaos. Because the world doesn't see it the same way as you do, you then have to be negative about it and label it as some sort of hurtful thing when it's not meant to be hurtful at all. Yes, the world will be better the more heteronormal it is understood. Because that is the design of the God who made the world that we're in. Whether you believe it or not, doesn't matter. 888-589-8840. Let's go to David in Ohio. David, you're up next on AFA Today with Kevin McCullough. Glad you're here.
I had friends that used to encourage me to go down to the Gay Pride Parade and hand out Bible tracts, and I finally went down this past year. Even though I'd been offered, asked to go down many other years, I just didn't feel like, I was really comfortable going down. But I finally went down, handed out Bible tracts, and I don't call it a gay parade. I call it a sad parade because these are some of the saddest people you ever saw in your life. And I had all these young kids coming up to me. I mean, late junior high, high school, maybe right out of high school. And some of them would take Bible tracts, and some of them bring them back and say, "Well, I'm gay. I can't, be thinking about Jesus, or I'm gay, and these aren't right for me." But they're so young, and I'm not a good judge of age anymore, but I think these things should not be allowed in any city, just because the little kids are going to see this stuff, and people who drink in bars get caught urinating after leaving a bar are charged with exposing themselves, or charged with a sex crime, or listed as sexual offenders. Why aren't these people at the gay or sad parades charged the same way?
I've asked that question, David, for years, and I have never understood, because in some of the cities where these things have taken place, and I was in Israel in the spring, and my host there said that Tel Aviv had just been kind of blackmailed into doing a gay pride parade, and it was such a repulsive shock to the culture of what Israel is. Particularly the very observant and Orthodox Jews that are there. It was just it's just seen as just pure blasphemy, and I think that the more that they can make it that profane kind of disgusting display, the more they feel like they're punching God in the face. And I can't get away from the idea that I kind of think that's what this is all about. We're told it's all about expressing oneself, but I don't know any normal heterosexual married couples that need to ride down Fifth Avenue in Manhattan and get each other naked and have sex on a mattress while it rolls down the middle of the street. I don't know anybody in my life ever, not this life, not the life before the one I lived, never have I ever met one person, not today, not last week, not maybe 5 years ago, no, not even then, never have I seen somebody that said, this is what I have to do to feel whole. And it's always been, in my mind, something that's been patently offensive, grotesquely offensive to families, and something that children should be guarded against. I mean, I think if the city is going to insist upon letting these things happen unfiltered, and again, what I'm trying to say to Dallas is good job, and good job even to the homosexuals that are in the decision making process that are saying, at the very least, we should have everyone covered and no sex acts being simulated, so that if there are any children exposed to this parade, at least there's no felony indecent exposure happening, and we'll arrest everybody that does. This is a good thing that Dallas is. It's a good step in the right direction. It doesn't solve the problem wholeheartedly, but it is an incremental one that is better than what the other option was. But at the end of the day, friend, what is the need to do this? What is the need to express in this way? I don't think it's just about feeling like I was born a certain way and I have to tell somebody that. And that's how the issue is always framed by everyone else. The issue is always framed as, well, I'm made this way and I feel this way, and so I have to tell somebody. So you're an intolerant bigot homophobe if you don't let me tell you that this is how I feel. Okay, you've told me how you feel. Does it mean now that I have to let my children and my neighbor's children and everybody else that may be passing by a city on a given day to see all of that going on? There are some things, and LifeSite News is a pro-life, it's the Life, Family, and Culture news site, and there's a lot of referrals that One News Now does with their writers and so forth. It's a very trusted website in the pro-family movement. There's a lot of information that comes through here. This is a reliable report, is what I'm saying. But there are things about the way the activists describe their rights in this piece on a pro-family website that I can't read to you on this show because I feel they're too graphic, and I feel like that if there's a child listening, it will rob them of the innocence that they rightly should be able to have in America. And when I see the way the activists are angry and they say, no, we have the right to be as lewd and crude and nude and everything else that we want to be out there, and you can't stop us. This is our right. This is a good example of why I go, I don't think it would be necessarily great if those same people were adopting children. Because you don't even have the wherewithal to understand, the discernment to understand that children shouldn't even be seeing such things. Because then you call it polished, heteronormative standards of society. (888-589-8840). More of your calls. 888-589-8840. Let's talk to Michelle in Virginia. Michelle, you're up next on AFA Today with Kevin McCullough. Glad you're here. 8840. Let's talk to Michelle. Michelle, are you there? Hello, Michelle. Michelle's listening on delay because she's listening to her radio. Hey, how are you doing? Hi.
I'm pretty good.
Good.
Well, I just wanted to make a comment on, the Dallas and the gay parade and everything.
Yes.
I'm 45 years old, and I lived my life as a gay woman for the last, 35 years.
Okay.
And I totally agree. I mean, I'm all about protecting the children. I've raised 3 kids with my partner, And just because, I live that lifestyle does not mean, I believe in, parades going on where the kids don't have a choice,
Michelle, let me ask you a question. And first of all, I'm very pleased that you called. Thank you for calling. Number two, let me ask you a couple of questions. Have you attended a Pride event?
I refuse to.
You've never been to one ever?
I was raised in New York City.
Okay, so you've seen them.
Yes, of course.
Okay, have I exaggerated anything about what goes on there in my presentation on this topic today?
No, you haven't. You have to actually, know people. I've known people who've talked about things that's going on who go there every year. So, and there are things that, again, that goes on, that should not be going on, and it saddens me because I know a lot of gay females and couples, would agree with me if they, if they have children. You have to actually be raising kids and know they have to.
So the bottom line for you, Michelle, do you applaud the city of Dallas for enforcing their decency standards on this year's parade?
Yes, I do.
Right.
And I just want to make one comment towards the caller that talked about the church and everything. And I just want to put this out there. Real quick. I believe in God, and guess what? The last 2 years, I decided to become celibate. I'm not in a relationship, and I've given my life to Jesus Christ, and I did not have to.
Amen. Michelle, thank you for. Actually, hold on. I want to ask you some more questions because that's a very interesting way to end a call. Stay with us. It's AFA Today with Kevin McCullough.